What's up? It's time for another edition of ACC Baseball Etc, presented as always by our good friends at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Get ready for a new season of fishing fun with Academy Sports and Outdoors and reel in the best gear at low prices every day. Plus, Academy offers easy ways to shop and save time, like free 1 hour in-store or curbside pickup on academy.com. Orders. Our thanks to Academy Sports and Outdoors, as always. I'm Daron Vaught. I've got a guest. We haven't done this a lot this year, but I'm happy to be sort of chipping away at having some others on the show, and I'm happy to get that rolling with Virginia Tech's Sam Tackett, who is enjoying quite the season. Virginia Tech knocking on the door of top 25 here at D1 Baseball. Anyway, they've crept into other rankings. 20-9 on the year, now 7-5 at Notre Dame this weekend, and consecutive ranked conference series wins for the Hokies. Sam, hey man, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to start with the team. What do you like about the makeup of this squad? It feels like the chemistry is great, as it usually is. What makes this team special and or fun to play with?
I think what stands out the most about this team is our depth, for sure. I mean, I've been at Virginia Tech the past 5 years, my fifth season here, so I've seen a lot of teams come through here. I was on that 22 team that made that super regional run. But this team, I mean, there is a bunch of guys that could be in the lineup on any given day, and it's really helpful for everybody in the lineup because it's not like, oh, I got to have this big swing here. You just trust the guy behind you, or if somebody comes to the game, you know they're going to get the job done. So I think our depth is 100% our strongest piece to this team.
That, considering you even just mentioned in at least sort of indirect comparison to the 2022 team, that's interesting to me that you would say that. Are there maybe other similarities to the 2022 team? Just kind of, I mean, this can be very nitty gritty baseball or, off the field stuff. What do you find yourself being maybe reminded of certain ways that team did things?
Yeah. I mean, Coach Chef has talked about it a lot, but just our toughness, just the toughness of the team, making pitches when we have to, big plays when we have to, and just not backing down. That reminds me a lot of the 22 team. And then obviously, like, some off the field stuff, like we just mesh together well as a group. There's no cliques. There's no, like, we're all one team together. And that's definitely a helpful part to being a successful team in the ACC.
Yeah. You mentioned fifth year there with the program in a time where we don't really have to get deep into this, Sam, but dudes aren't staying at the same program for 5 years a lot. What is it about being a Hokie that has kept you there?
I mean, I love the coaching staff. I mean, it's also very rare for the same coaches to be at a school for time too. So, like, I've been lucky enough. There's the only change that we've had, major change to the coaching staff, has been strength and conditioning. And we've had 3 great trainers come through there, and they've helped turn me into the player I am. But just being able to work with Coach Chef, Coach Elvin, Coach Hansen, Coach Petersheim, Coach Fecto, Coach Sayers, and every single day, I've just grown in so many ways as a baseball player, but as a person as well. And I've built some strong relationships with them. So,
yeah, the player you've become is a pretty good one. As a matter of fact, just recently named a midseason All-American here at D1 Baseball. I would imagine I know the answer to this, Sam. Does that mean anything to you?
Not really, no. I mean, I've kind of, this is what I've been saying throughout this whole season, but it's like I was going into this year, it's probably going to be my last year of baseball. I'm just trying to go out there and have fun. Like, go out there, do the best that I can, not put a whole lot of pressure on myself, because that's something I've did for the past 4 years, was like anytime I got in the game or in a situation, like, I would just put unadded pressure on myself. This year I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go out there, have fun, just play loose, play free, and it's turned out to be pretty good for me and the team. So
is that the main thing from year to year as that you would point to as kind of the main difference? I remember talking to Coach Chef prior to last season, and when asking him about the team, which he felt really good about, the depth and some of the things you're talking about last year, he mentioned your name as hey, I expect a big year out of Sam.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like this has been coming or brewing for a couple of years. Your coaches have been singing your praises. I mean, we've seen it in preseason and in the fall. You play well, but like the brass tacks of it is, it was not a great year for you last year, and I would imagine that it's kind of emotionally taxing. Mm. You talk about this sort of freeing yourself of the pressure. Is that the main difference from last year to this year?
Yeah, I would say so. Just trying to take what I've been doing in preseasons, falls, into the spring. That was the next jump I had to make. And I've just been able just to – what I was doing in those games, like I wasn't putting any pressure on myself. Like I was just going up there. I had expectations for myself, but it was just kind of freeing up there knowing that, okay, it's not really a game on the line here. Like I'm working on something. I'm doing this. But whenever the season turned around, like last year, for example, it was like, oh, I gotta do this every single bat. I gotta do this, and it just adds up. And like you said, it's mentally taxing on you. So learning that from last year and just being able to kind of overcome that this year is definitely gave me a lot of confidence. So,
can I get you to dig into that a little bit? Because I know for a fact we have coaches, younger players who listen to and or watch the show. And I feel like this would be valuable for a lot of them, or even somebody who's not a baseball player, but deals with whatever pressure that's self-applied or applied from other spaces. How did you get over that?
I mean, like I said, it took me 4 years to get over it, but it's just like, at the end of the day, I'm going out there, I'm playing a game. Even though I'm 22 years old, I'm going out there playing a kid's game and just trying to enjoy every little moment of it and just embrace it instead of like being nervous and anxious about it. Just embrace the challenge and what's going on, because there's a lot of kids that would kill to have the opportunity that I have. And I mean, you take that for granted a lot of the times, like going to practice and getting caught up in the everyday stuff. So really just looking for like positives throughout games, throughout days, throughout practices, and just kind of focusing on those and just embracing everything that comes to you, whether it's good or bad, just learning from everything and going out there and playing carefree. I know it's harder than what it sounds like, obviously, but I would say that's kind of like what I was going through, like from transferring from this last year to this year.
Yeah. How quickly? Maybe it's a progressive thing over the 4 years. Maybe it's just like you woke up one morning and it was sort of just like an aha moment, a realization. How quickly did you kind of make that turn?
Honestly, like last year was the first summer I didn't play summer ball. Like, so I would say over that summer, I really just tried to hone in on that aspect and understanding like, okay, I'm going into my 5th year. Like this is probably my last year of baseball. I'm just going to go out and enjoy it. And Coach Elbin, and we had a meeting preseason, and he was like, hey man, like whatever you're doing, like in July, August, that sets you up for the fall, do that December and January. And then like, well, let's just see what happens. And I was like, oh, that sounds good. And I was shocked. I came back and I was treating the preseason just like it was the fall, carrying that into the season. And then I was like, wow, like that's probably what really just flipped it for me. Whenever I had that meeting with Elbin, I was like, okay, I got to take what I'm doing in the falls and just transfer that over to like what I'm doing like on an everyday, whether that's up in the cages, in the training room, just like being routine oriented and just focusing on that stuff, things I can control.
Yeah. Yeah. And what all does that include that maybe was getting overlooked or neglected a little bit in previous years?
I would say a lot of what I was doing was mindless work. That's what I like to call it, like just going up in the cages and hitting for an hour or two just to go up there and do it with no focus. I would say that I mean, obviously being a fifth year, just taking care of my body more. That's definitely been something I've put more of an emphasis on this year. But when I go up to the cage, I'm locked in for, even if it's just 10 minutes, like I want to be locked in on what I'm doing the best I can every single swing, not necessarily going up there taking 1,000 swings. If it's 20 swings and I feel how I need to feel going out to a game, like that's what I'm going to do. But I mean, I used to go up there after practices, before games, and just hit off the machine, boom, 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 boom. And that definitely helped me a little bit. I've always been a really hard worker, but just learning how to do it, working smarter, not harder. So I would say that that's really what's helped me the most this year.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to go a minute further without talking about the home run robbery. You made SportsCenter's top 10. Like that in and of itself has to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
How did you find out? Were you watching to see it on SportsCenter? Or I imagine your phone blew up when that happened.
Yeah. After the game, I got on the bus, looked at my phone, and I was like, oh, here we go. Like, it's just text, notifications. I'm like, all right, well, then I open up Twitter and I see the play that our softball team made. I don't know if you saw that. It was number one that night on SportsCenter. I was like, well, and then later that night I saw where I think somebody from Virginia Tech posted it. There was two, Virginia Tech softball and Virginia Tech baseball, both on SportsCenter. And then I woke up the next morning and we were down in the lobby and I saw ESPN was on one of the TVs. I was like, oh, there's me. I'm on SportsCenter. But it was pretty cool just to be able to see that. I enjoyed it.
Let me ask about the play specifically. You have played corner infield spots. You've played the outfield. You've kind of been a little bit all over in your time there as a Hokie. You were a shortstop in high school. So I can't imagine. It's not like you're a lifelong outfielder where you've had this opportunity to rob a home run a million times or whatever. How often do you actually practice that specific play?
We actually practice it more than you probably think. I would probably say once every other week, like during the fall or like the preseason. Or even we've done it a couple times during the season, just working back like to the wall, finding it, and then jumping up. Like there is a technique to it, so to speak. But we practice it a little bit more than what people might think. Also, just being out there for batting practices, going back to the wall, figuring stuff out, and it's a little bit harder when you go and play at different places because obviously I know the field at Virginia Tech like the back of my hand. Being in the outfield here for the past couple of years, but we definitely practice it a lot, and there's a little bit of technique in it that we kind of use, and it definitely helped me there. So,
is that something that, like at Notre Dame this weekend, you guys are going to get there? Mm-hmm. You go out to the outfield for batting practice on day one that you're there. Is that something that you kind of like, you go back to the wall, you assess, okay, it's this high. It would take sort of this many steps. I'm gonna recognize the warning track at this point. That's something you feel out at every place you go to.
First thing that we do, we go out, we stretch, throw, go out to the outfield. I'm going back, counting off the steps to the wall, counting off the steps to the foul line, depending on if it's tighter, like I'll do it. But like at Wake Forest, it was their foul area is pretty big, so I really didn't do it there. But then just going and learning how balls play off the wall. Because a lot of these parks in the ACC are a little bit different. Like going down to Florida State, playing right field. I mean, having to navigate like that big, massive fence out there with the chain link. Just going out there and learning the field and just getting a feel for it on those Thursday night practices.
Yeah. Okay, so in this particular play, walk me through it. What was going through your mind? Obviously, you're going through the steps necessary, like you're saying, that you practice to rob a home run. Mm-hmm. Walk me up to the point of the catch, and then I've got a follow-up, all right?
Yeah, so Scannell was up, and he had a homer earlier that game, and I knew a lot of his stuff. Like he was pretty heavy to the pull side. So I'm up, and the ball's hit, and I knew he didn't hit it like that good. I mean, it's 300 feet down the line at right field at Wake, so He hit off the end of the bat, and the sky was a little tough, and I lost it for a second. And I picked it back up, and I'm running. I look over at the fence, and I'm like, this is getting ready to leave. I was surprised that it went that far. I was like, this is getting ready to leave. And luckily I timed it up. I almost tripped a little bit on like Wake's like warning track goes like up. It's like a hill. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I got up to the top of it and like, here we go. I jumped up and I felt it in my glove. I knew I had it from the beginning. It was pretty.
All right. Okay. That's a great stopping point, because then you get down back on your feet and you look up at the wall as if to deke all of us. And then when you turn around, you got like this funny smile on your face. You're like, no, I got it. How there's no way you think about how I'm going to do that when I rob a home run, right? It's just, it's total in the moment reactionary. All right. So now from the point of the catch until the big reveal that you actually got it, what's going through your mind?
Yeah, I knew I had it, and I kind of landed a little bit awkward. I was like facing the wall, and everybody, like, you could tell, like, everybody like held their breath, like everybody was waiting. And I don't know why I just didn't take the ball out and show them, but I'm just like, I guess I'm gonna hold it for a little bit longer. I turned around, and Scannell was on his way to second. I think the home plate umpire actually like signaled it a home run. I'm pretty sure he did. And I was like, oh, well, I held my glove up first, and I was like, oh, ball's not in here. I got to take it out, and I showed him the ball.
I didn't even realize that you got the home plate umpire with it too. That's great.
I wasn't trying to. I guess I don't even know what I was thinking during that moment. But it was pretty cool.
Well, aside from defense, you've got 10 home runs on the season. And I mentioned it earlier, like you've set career highs in everything with the homers included. I love seeing you have the success you're having. You hit a 500-foot homer earlier this year. Is that part of something that has improved for you? Is your strength? Are you like noticeably stronger this year than in past years?
You know, this is definitely the strongest I've been, but I wouldn't say it's like necessarily like, it's not like I made like a massive jump in the weight room or anything. But I mean, you can act like you talk to like former teammates or even the coaches at Virginia Tech, like the past 3 years, really ever since I got here, I was out there. I put on a show during BP. Like I've always been able just to hit the ball hard, but it's just improving the consistency of it and being able to translate that to games. And that was really what I focused a lot on throughout this fall, was kind of effort level. Knowing I'm trying to like tone it down a little bit, knowing that I can hit the ball pretty hard, but it's all about the consistency. It doesn't matter if I'm swinging and missing or not hitting stuff on the barrel any. So that was something I really tried to work on, was lowering my effort and just being smooth and trying to catch as many barrels as possible. And that's seemed to work out.
Yeah. Is the thinking behind that just kind of like trusting the process? Because again, we saw the 500-foot home run. I've also seen you with some pretty good swings, just kind of eke some over this year too, right? But it counts the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, the balls that I hit out that are barely over the fence in the 500-foot homer, they all count the same. They're the same amount of runs for the team. It's the same. Like, it's not like the 500-foot homer counts as 5 home runs, but just learning that and just trying to go up there. And it's not like I've been trying to hit home runs every single bat. I've just been putting good swings on balls, and luckily they've been in the air. I'm just trying to hit line drives to the batter's eye. So,
yeah. I mentioned your versatility over the years, right? High school shortstop, corner outfield, corner infield. You played center field a lot this year. Do you have a spot that you like best? Has the outfield kind of grown on you the past couple of years?
Yeah, the outfield's grown on me for sure. I mean, if you would have told me that coming in to Virginia Tech 5 years ago, like you're going to be playing all over the outfield, I've been like, no way. Like I was always a shortstop. Like I never played any other position besides that. But I got here, played short and second, moved me over to play shortstop, a little bit of third base. Then I moved over to first. I actually caught a little bit my freshman year, when I got redshirted. I did a
I
little
do
bit.
remember that. Yeah, holy cow.
So I did that, and then I got moved to right field. Played a little bit of left field at the end of last year. Played a little bit of center field this year. So I've really been all over the place. But right field, I would say, is where I've grown to be the most comfortable. It's where I think I've just when I first went out to the outfield, that was where I played. I had a full summer up there in the NECBL. Came back, played all fall there. So that's where I definitely have the most experience. I'd say that's where I'm most comfortable at right now in the field.
Yeah. Back to this Hokies team. Who I mentioned obviously are getting some attention, midseason All-American. Who would you categorize as unsung heroes on this team? Who's important to the Hokies' success that maybe is not getting mentioned as much?
The two that come to mind right now, and I don't know, I mean, this might be they're getting a decent amount of, I would say, praise from the media, but Brent Renfro's been legit. And I think everybody knows that. Like, he's on USA last year, Friday guy, freshman All-American. But, I mean, his past two starts for us have been legit. And for us to have him pitching that way, it's been big for us on Fridays. But the second guy is Ben Watson. I mean, obviously last year ACC batting champ, hit 400. Big to get him back. But he was he was off to a slow start, but he was on the barrel like the entire first couple of weeks. Like, he was making loud outs, and it's just baseball. So sometimes it doesn't go your way. But ever since the start of ACC play, he's really turned it on for us, and he's been taking really good at bats, had some huge RBIs for us. But I know his stats don't look too good right now, but he's been a massive piece to what we've done the past 2 weekends.
Yeah, maybe one of those things. You hit 400 one year because you get some seeing eye singles, right? Some blue pits. It's just like the karmic forces of baseball working back out, right?
Yeah.
Who you mentioned Renfro? He's got to be close at least to the top of this list. We're a ways into the season now, so you're not seeing your own guys when you're in the batter's box as much. Who are the toughest to hit on this team, pitchers wise?
Renfro's up there. I think Renfro's probably number one for me. But number two, I would give it to Preston Crow. This preseason, he made a massive jump. I mean, he was like 89, 91. And then he came out when we came back, and he was like 93, 95. I think he's hit a couple of 96s this year. But, I mean, his fastball is legit. It's got a lot of ride to it, and he's been mixing really good this year. He's been a massive piece out of our bullpen. Jake Marciano, he was really, really good in the preseason whenever we were taking live at-bats and stuff. I mean, just the way he can locate his fastball. I mean, I've been in center field for a couple of games that he's pitched in, and I'm sitting behind, and I'm like, he is either missing one ball in or it is on the line. Like, I mean, it was unreal just to be back there and see how he can locate his fastball. He's going to be really, really good for us for the next couple of years. So those are probably my top three of the toughest guys I faced during the preseason.
Okay, that's good. That's nice. I want to finish this off talking about the analytics side. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned working smarter as opposed to harder. Some things have changed in the game, really, in the 5 years that you've been a Hokie. Even there's been more of sort of this widespread embrace of the analytical side. You guys, with your program, do a great job with that stuff. How much more have you adopted just that, incorporating it in your game since year 1 to year 5?
I would say the biggest thing, every time I go upstairs on pitting, I'm normally turning on our TrackMan units just to see like exit velocity, launch, how the ball's spinning off the bat. I like seeing that stuff. But with the analytics, the number one thing that I've like adopted to has been like scouting report stuff, like looking at other arms. I'm able to go in and be like, all right, right-handed hitters, that hit in the middle of the lineup, for example. I'll go in, how do pitchers pitch them? Or how do pitchers pitch them with runners on base? And that kind of helps me. And our coaches do a fantastic job with setting up scouting reports. So I like being able to go in, like watch video the night before, being able to do that. And then also looking at myself, like where am I struggling? Like where can I improve on? Like certain zones, certain pitches, pitches that are 93 plus inside. How am I doing on those? Like being able to take that and kind of understand how I'm probably going to end up being pitched and being able to work off that and adjust and make my plans for a game or a weekend based off that.
Yeah. So it sounds like you have embraced it for the most part. I know certain teams I've seen this year, they'll put TrackMan data up on the video board during batting practice so that you can get that swing by swing feedback. Whereas I'm sure you play with them. There are guys who are just, no. I don't want to see that. I don't want to know, I can do it sort of based off of feel and I'm more comfortable that way. If those are the two sides of the spectrum, when did you kind of start to get onto the, okay, I want to see it. I'm interested in that information.
I would probably, once I got here, I would say, and once I kind of figured out how to like navigate it, I was like, this could really like change. Like we have all these things that are just being given to us, and it's you either take them or you don't. And I wanted to become the best baseball player that I could, and I'm just taking it. I'm just taking in all the information, and now like I'm able to look at different reports and things like that, and I'm able to fully like comprehend them. That mean based on talking with our analytics guy, Kyle Sarrazin. I've learned a lot through him, and like if I see like something, I'm watching video and I have the TrackMan stuff and I see like the horizontal break, the IVB, like whatever it is, like I'm able to understand what kind of fastball he's using or how his slider's moving, like what profile is it. So I would say I've grown a lot just embracing it, and really once I got here I kind of dove like fully into it, and when I was pretty invested in it. So
yeah. This is going to be the true test of your nerdiness. I'm curious, are college players thinking about where on the bat head they hit it most? Like with the torpedo bats in mind. Like would you know how to construct your own bat based on like where you've got where you hit it off of the label or the barrel the most?
I don't think so. I mean, you could look at your bat and like you have like, at least on my bat, I have a lot of like blue marks from the NCAA logo on the baseball. And normally, like right now, most of mine are on the barrel, which is a good sign.
Yep.
Last year it wasn't like that, but I don't know. I think the metal bats are a little bit different than the wood bats. I mean, if you get one, I mean, there's been balls I've hit this year that I haven't even like got really on the barrel, put a good swing on. They've ended up leaving, but I'm sure it's a little bit different with wood bats. So just trying to get the most you can out of a wood bat. So
maybe you'd have 30 home runs by now in the BESR era. That's back in my day. That's the ping, like the really loud ping. I mean, you got a lot of cheapies then.
I think we should bring those back.
Right? Yeah. I think maybe safety for like a comebacker on a pitcher is probably best we stay away from that. The BB cores are A-okay. All right, well, here's to hoping that Virginia Tech baseball gets a team physicist soon, and then we can get you a torpedo bat, right? Yep. Sam, I really do appreciate the time. I'm so joyful seeing the success that you and the Hokies are having. I don't know if you know this. I grew up about 50 miles from Blacksburg. So my like early college baseball as a kid going to games experiences are at English Field. So anytime the Hokies are good, it makes me happy and makes my heart warm. So keep it up, man. Good luck at Notre Dame this weekend and continued success. Appreciate the time.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.